Something absolutely crazy happened last night, and I don't know what happened. So here's what happened. So I'm sitting here in my house around 6:30, and all of a sudden, and I live way out in the country. Like, look, that's like, we live literally in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so when I heard the sirens, I was like, that's interesting. That's different. We don't normally hear a lot of sirens around here. And there was a lot. And my mom was like, did you see the ambulances and the cops? And I was like, yeah, I could kind of see them through the trees. I could see the lights and stuff. And I was like, I wonder what's going on. And she was wondering the same thing. And then just a little while later, I was expecting my friend to come over, and he calls me and he says, hey, the road to your house is blocked off. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, the whole road to your house is blocked off with cops. And I was like, that's crazy, because I just heard the cops. Like, what do you see? And he said, it's our neighbors, like, right next to us. But like, that's what I mean. Like, I showed you, like, okay, there's nobody there for like a couple miles, but so the people like a mile that way are direct neighbors. He said that there was 4 cop cars, 2 ambulances, 2 fire trucks, and 2 undercover cops just sitting at that place. And then the road was blocked off. And he was like, so I'm trying to get to my friend's house right up there. And they're like, yeah, no, you can't go through 100%. And he's like, it's literally the next house. And they're like, nope, you need to go around. And he was like, okay. So he went around the entire, like, you have to go around to a completely different town, right, to get up to the other road that comes into my town. So he comes up to that road, and that road's blocked off too. And he's like, hey, like, I'm just trying to get to my friend's house. And they were like, sorry. And he was like, look, I just came around the other side, and they told me to come around this way. Like, literally, that's the only way to their house is right there. And he was like, okay, but I'm gonna escort you there. So he escorts him all the way to my driveway, all the way down the house, all the way down the driveway, and made sure he got into the house to make sure that this is actually where he was supposed to go. Then he left. And I was like, did you ask him, like, what was going on? He's like, yes, I asked him. Like, what did he say? And he said, I can't tell you. It's just nothing good. So I was like, oh no. So I jumped up on the police scanner, of course. And there was nothing on the police scanner. Empty. Nothing. And I was like, that's really weird. But then I was like, maybe, I don't know, this is a really small town. I don't know. So I checked around. All the other places were active. I could hear things here and there. And I was like, So I'll go back to ours. Nothing. Dead. They must have switched channels. We couldn't hear anything. So then a little while later, I could hear something. And they were talking about one ambulance just got to the ER. Another ambulance was being followed by a cop to the ER. I know, I'm so sorry. There's turkeys. There's turkeys out there. I love this. I love living out here. So anyways, the cop said, one ambulance got to the ER. He was following another ambulance into the ER. And then he said some people ran out onto the lake. And I showed you the lake is frozen. So I was like, oh my God, that makes sense. That makes sense. People are running away. They're going to run onto the lake, right? But then they said something about bringing helicopters out to look for the people on the lake. And I was like, oh my God, because look, like, their house is right there. So they could have just come over here. Or they ran back that way, because that goes to a completely different town on that side. So I don't know what was going on. I checked the real life, nothing. There's nothing in the real life Facebook page about this area. I was like, that's weird. That's really weird. I checked online. There's nothing about this online. And then I drove past there this morning because I was like, I have got to see. There was nothing. No crime scene tape, no nothing. So I don't know. I do not know what happened. But it was really intense, and I want to know what happened. Were there people running around on the lake last night? Were there helicopters? I kept looking. I didn't see any helicopters, but I don't know. And then they did say, we're going on portables. We're switching to this station, blah, 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 blah. So they were even communicating that they were switching, getting off the one that, civilians could listen to. I don't 100% know the lingo of all that stuff, but I thought it was really interesting. And if I get any follow-up, I'll let you know. But first of all, I hope everybody's okay, because obviously if there's 2 ambulances, one got to the ER, that's bad. But why were there people on the lake? Was it connected? It might not have been connected, right? They might not have been correlated, but I just can't help but think something happened. Something crazy happened last night. I want to know. When I find out, I will tell you more. And I know I sound excited. I'm being serious though. I really do hope everybody's okay. I'm very nosy, and I just like to know what's going on. That's all. I just do hope everybody's okay.